Our dear Father in heaven, we are thankful to meet tonight at this school board meeting. We are grateful for the opportunity we have to serve our school and our district. We are thankful for our teachers and our students and those that make everything happen. We pray for our students that they will excel in the concepts that are presented to them. We are thankful for this free country that we live in and for those men and women who have sacrificed time and their lives to make that possible for us. Please be with them. We pray for moisture on our dry lands, that the forests and grasslands will be blessed. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 1.2, Superintendent Report to include comments on extracurricular activities, curriculum, and current events. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, thank you. I want to first start by thanking those men and women who have served in our armed forces, our veterans. We're grateful for each and every one of you, for the sacrifices and for the opportunity that we have to live here in a free country because of those sacrifices. We have a lot going on at the school, as I don't think there's a dull moment, but we just finished off our fall seasons. All of them went to state and had a very successful year. Kind of interesting, I was looking back at the soccer season, and as the boys soccer team went to state, they won in penalty kicks the first round, they lost in penalty kicks the second round, and then Blue Ridge went to the championship after beating us in penalty kicks, and then won on penalty kicks. So, they lost. Sorry, they lost in penalty kicks. So all of those games were down to the wire and went into overtime and penalty kicks. So that's pretty exciting for our boys. They had a great season. Our girls also competed in state and lost in the semifinals of that bracket. Our volleyball and football teams both went to the first rounds of state. So that was really exciting. Our students today across the district and throughout this week had some Veterans Day presentations and performed very well. That's always exciting to see the little ones perform, and we're glad that they were able to do that. Just want to take just a moment and really thank the community for their support of our school district and our efforts to provide a safer environment for our students, and one that through supporting our bond. Kind of the next steps, just real briefly, I'll share with you is that once everything is settled and the time has passed that needs to pass, those bonds will go for sale. They'll be sold to people who will house those, and then we will be funded. And that should happen in January or February. In the interim between now and the sale of those bonds, we will be looking at our projects that we listed as our priorities. We are working to get some estimates of what those costs will be, and so we have those lined out. So when we put our community group together, our oversight committee together, that they'll have all those numbers in front of them so that they can then help us to begin to prioritize and expend those funds. We are excited to do that. We're excited to see what it'll bring to our district and help us grow into the future. So again, I wanted to thank our community for coming out and supporting 59%, just over 59% to 41. So that was a great turnout. That's my report, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Housley, are you okay if we take a moment and piggyback on your statements to the community?
Please do.
We can begin with.
You can go ahead.
You want me to go ahead? Okay. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the community for their trust and their vote for us to have this bond so that we can take care of some of the shortcomings that we have in our district. I just really express gratitude for that, and express gratitude to the committee that went to great lengths, a lot of effort to get signs out and to prioritize and all of the things that they did. Grateful for. I'd love to name each one of them individually, but as a group, I'm very grateful for them. Anybody else have any comments?
I too would like to thank our community and those on the committee. They worked tirelessly to do all of the things that needed to be done to get this bond information out to our community. And obviously that happened because, as was stated, 59% of you voted in support of this bond. And we as a district are forever grateful, and our children will be safer for it. So thank you very much. And I too would like to honor my fellow veterans on this Veterans Day week. So thank you for all of you who have served and all those who have lost. Some gave some, and some gave all.
Anybody else? Thank
I
you.
will. I want to echo what was said. We are very grateful. I am very grateful to our community, to the people of our community that have a desire to look out for our children, look out for our staff. And I'm just, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm thankful that the committee, to start with, got together and even identified needs at our schools. Like the community identified needs and brought them to us to approve to go for a bond. I'm thankful for that process, and I'm thankful that the community backed each other and support our children. So thank you. And I'm thankful for our veterans too. Thanks so much, Pam, and for all those veterans out there. And I'm also grateful, I know I'm talking too much, but I am so grateful for a staff that instill a love of our country with our children and teach them to respect and honor those that have served and the freedoms that we have now. So thank you to all of you staff.
Well said, Amy. If there's nothing more, we'll move on to 1.3, presentation of legendary staff members. Mr. Housley.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll invite Mrs. Jaramillo to come up from Whipple Ranch and share her legendary staff.
Are we going down?
Lately with an arm. Okay.
Last time we took the picture as a group.
Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Housley. I would like to, I've brought her here one time before, but man, she's good. I don't know what to tell you. She's good. This is Alex Dietering, and she is the Whipple Ranch legendary staff member. There's so many things. I thought of her because she is our tech buddy, and if you could see what she does above and beyond in this position, she's created like a Whipple Ranch tech page. It's a Facebook page, and so she does like little video podcasts, and she tells how people to do, how do you do this, how do you can add kids into this for this program. She sends out ways to incorporate technology into instruction, fun things and higher level thinking for our K-1-2 kids. So that's why I thought, I just need to bring her up here again because she is just that good. But then as I asked people, tell me about Alex, I think one of the things that really stood out to me, this was from a new teacher. And she said, in fact, I asked two new teachers, and one of them said, she really takes the time to listen to what your concern is or what your problem is. She doesn't try to tell you that you're wrong. She listens to what you're saying, and then she really helps you brainstorm solutions. And then another new member on her team said to me, because she had told me before, my goal is to be like Alex Dietering in the classroom. And I said to her, why do you want to be like Alex? And she said, She is the same, almost the same what the other one said. She said, she never tells me that I do things wrong. She always just waits, then listens to me, and she always gives me such good ideas on how to do things differently. And she said, I really appreciate that. One of our staff members said, she had my child, and she really advocated for him, and he needed support, and she really went out and found that support for him. But like usual, I asked a parent as well, and a parent said she really takes her time and she gets to know each child individually, and that makes a difference for my child. And then I always like to ask children, and so she said, when I do a good job, Miss Dietering says, "Good job, Riley." And that's why she likes her so much. So, yeah, she's amazing, and she is great, and so deserving, and should be a future administrator.
John.
Are we going to do it all together, or?
At the end?
Yeah, so we can just maybe wait right here.
Oh, right now. Okay. Hold your certificate up, like you tell the kids.
Like an honor roll?
Thank you, Mrs. Dietering. Mr. Hall, you come up next.
Mr. Housley and Governing Board, I always appreciate the opportunity we have to talk about great people that serve in our district, because we sure have a lot. Tonight I'm bringing, on behalf of Nicholas Homestead, Samantha Torres. Samantha is a Blue Ridge High School graduate, and we're okay with that. She got a good education at Blue Ridge, and now she's here sharing her talents with us here in Xolo, and we're happy to have her. She's been in education for 10 years now, and this is her third year in the Xolo Unified School District. Samantha serves as our special ed case manager, and she has a heavy load. She has 79 students on an IEP that she oversees. So we really appreciate, number one, her attitude, taking on such a heavy load. But the thing that I appreciate so much is the love that she has for those 79 students and how she desires that every one of their needs are met. She also oversees 7 teacher aides to help shuffle them around to make sure those individual IEP needs are being met. She's a great advocate for kids. I love the fact that she will communicate not only to kids in a kind and compassionate way, but she's also very compassionate and open-minded with parents. She's really good about working with teachers and making sure that teachers feel like they're supported. And we love that about her. Mrs. Marsh was going to be here tonight, and she couldn't be, but she asked me if I could share a little bit about Samantha from her perspective. And this is what Mrs. Marsh said. She would like to add to my comments. Samantha is a great example and a team player. She is always willing to go above and beyond with a smile on her face and a positive attitude. Samantha is always available as a resource to other teachers and willing to pitch in. She has a great rapport with students, parents, and teachers, and is continually working to meet the needs of everyone she works with. And I would say that is accurate and true, and I appreciate Beth's comments about that. So on behalf of Nicholas Homestead, we just want to say, Samantha, we love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. Dr. Dorsett?
Good evening, esteemed board and Mr. Housley. On behalf of Xolo Junior High School, I'd like to present Mr. Chavez as our legendary staff this month. He is an amazing teacher. I think he's been there the second longest of all my staff, so he's definitely dedicated and loyal to our district. He's also a veteran, so in celebration of Veterans Day, thank you for your service, sir. And on top of that, he's a hotshot in the summer, so he does all kinds of service for our community. He's definitely amazing on the rise there. And at the junior high, he teaches physical education and wood shop, and he's cranking out all kinds of projects in that wood shop. Kids are building amazing things. He just did archery with the PE class. He also oversees ski clubs, so he gives all kinds of opportunities to our students at the junior high. He's always willing to help. He's an excellent team player, always willing to step up and do whatever it takes to make sure that things are running smoothly at the junior high, and very caring for students and staff alike. So you're much appreciated there. I've got a couple insights from some of your colleagues that I'd like to read here. So one said, I've known Mr. Chavez for over 20 years. He has always been willing to help in any circumstance regarding students and staff alike. He works hard and teaches our students very worthwhile and lifelong skills. He has a great sense of humor and uses it to help students in everyday life happenings. And then another said that Mr. Chavez is a gentleman and he's taught every single one of my children and now my grandson. And on that note, I'm going to kind of pause here in this comment. I know Mr. Chavez just told me the other day that he had a student come up to him at Safeway and just say, hey, Mr. Chavez, caught up with him. I really appreciate your life lessons. They're so applicable now. So good job on that. And Mark has always gone above and beyond to help our students, and they have to come first. He supports our fellow staff and has a willing heart. I've always appreciated Mark and his natural way with students. Congratulations. And yes, congratulations, sir. No shake.
Did you know he's a Notre Dame fan too? Which is great. There's two of us in town.
Just get a award all on that.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Mrs. Ramsey?
Good evening, Mr. Housley and school board members. I hope I can get through this so that you can hear me. Our legendary staff member for this month is Estella Quintana. She is our custodian over at Linden Elementary, and we absolutely love being able to work with Estella. She doesn't like the spotlight, as you can tell. When she was announced, she was just in the back shaking her head like, Estella has worked for us for 2 years after working with another business for 18 years, and she was asked if she would come back to work with that business, and she called them and she said, no, I like where I'm at, and we are very grateful that she has chosen to stay with us. Estella is a very hard worker, and she knows how much we depend upon her. She comes in daily to ask me if there is anything that I need done. And this morning, I was eating lunch with the students, and one of the students, he just out of nowhere, he goes, Miss Estella, she can really move things fast, because he noticed how much time and effort was put into setting up for our Veterans Day program, and then it was taken down like that, and she does. She moves fast. A couple of emails I received from Some of our staff members, they said, Estella is a star of our school, always willing to help students and staff, no matter how busy she is. She goes way beyond the extra mile. Another one said, she is always there when we need her, brings great sweets and sometimes even breakfast, and has an uncanny ability to prioritize and remember. All you have to do is mention that you need something within a few days, and all of a sudden she shows up with it. The students, as well as the staff, all appreciate her, and the students worry whenever she's not around. I hope she realizes how much a part of the school she actually is. Another teacher said, as a new teacher this year, Xolo was often the only staff member I saw for most of the summer while I was setting up my classroom. She was always welcoming and extremely helpful. She made sure that I had all that I needed and knew where my materials were kept. Anytime she is leaving and I'm still working in my room, she stops by first to see if I need anything. She has been a blessing to me as a new teacher at Linden. I count her as a friend. Estella truly is a part of our Linden family. We are grateful for her and the work that she does.
Thank you, Estella. If we can have all the legendary staff come back down, and we'll take one big picture with everyone. Can't have enough pictures.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do 3. Good job. Thank you.
You can come back around. Thank you, board members. Thank you to all of our legendary staff. Have a great evening.
Moving on, 1.4, presentation by an Elks Lodge representative presenting $1,000 donation towards 2018 grad night.
We gotta go back down for this picture.
Nicholas?
She wants a picture.
We need a
Good evening,
picture.
ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kathy McCormick. I am the exalted ruler of the Xolo Elks Lodge. And earlier this year, we were notified that we would be receiving a grant. The grant was specifically stated to be used for children and for the betterment of our community. After much discussion, it was a unanimous decision that we decided to give the money to the school, to Xolo High School. So on behalf of the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks and Xolo Lodge number 2090, I would like to present you with this check for $1,000 to be used for your Xolo grad night.
Wonderful.
And thank you so much for what you do for your school, our schools, and what you do for our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think she wants a
Think you want a picture?
picture. You want to come down for the picture?
I guess you should have put it down there. Up and down, that's all right. Thank you so much.
Before she wanted a picture, but.
Do I want to be doing it? Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm here. Wide?
No, it's good. No, you'll be okay. Get a little closer, Mr. Hunsley. There you go, Mr. Hawkins. Straight. 1, 2, 3. Who's the lucky recipient? Thank you, Renee.
Donations. Gifts and donations.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Greg does.
Nope, Kelly gets it.
By the way, we will approve that donation under the consent agenda later on in the meeting. But want to express gratitude. I think probably all of us up here have worked grad night, and it is a big undertaking, and it really means a lot for us to be able to have a safe place for our kids to go and enjoy their graduation night. So really thankful to them for that. 1.5, call to the audience. Do we have anything? No? Okay. 1.6, future board agenda items. Anybody have anything they need to?
I do.
Okay.
Since the bond passed, as we come up on selling the bonds, I would like to see an item listed where monthly we can say this is what we're doing. So that's what I would like.
Are you
Maybe
looking to
starting
look at-
in
look at
January.
Progress.
Yeah, just where are we at? What have we done with the money? Just I think a transparency update to the public each month would be nice.
It's a great idea. You okay with that, Kelly? Okay. Thank you. 2.1, approval of overnight out-of-state travel. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, I bring for your approval this evening 3 items, plus some travel for our athletics. Mr. Adams is requesting that Mr. Pratt and 8 band students attend the honored band at CAC. That's November 20th and 21st. That will be funded through tax credit. Also, Mr. Adams is requesting that Derek Whipple and 12 students attend the Convention for Student Councils. That's January 25th through the 27th in Phoenix. Fundraiser proceeds will pay for that trip. Mr. Adams is also requesting the approval of Mrs. Lopman and Mrs. Goodman to attend the ACTE National Career and Technical Visions 2017 conference in December. That's the 5th through the 9th in Nashville. There are some outlines there of how CTE grant money will pay for that trip, and that's in your supporting material. Also, Mr. Adams is requesting for your approval the wrestling trips for out-of-state and overnight travel. They will be traveling to the Mile High Challenge in Prescott. That is the high school and junior high wrestling tournament, December 29th and 30th. And then the Last Chance tournament is Borgade Catholic tournament. That is just the varsity wrestlers. That'll be Saturday, January 19th and 20th. And I would bring these for your approval this evening.
I make a motion to approve travel as requested.
I'll second the motion.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 3.1, approval of resignations. Mr. Housley.
There's, I don't know if this is on our document that we'll bring up. I think it's later on. We'll bring some documents up. But for your consideration for resignations this evening, we have Keith Alsobrook. He was our lead grounds. That was effective. The effective date will be December 15th. Cassie Kelly, a high school special ed TA. That was November 16th. And then Wendell Plowman, sub-bus driver, effective 10/20. I bring these for your approval this evening.
I motion for approval of resignations as listed.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 3.2, approval of new hires, Mr. Housley.
We have the following individuals as new hires. Kayleen Boggs as our Linden Secretary in Health Tech. She began on 11/6. And then Emily Higginbotham, High School Health Tech, and that was effective November 13th. I bring these two individuals for your approval.
Make a motion to approve the new hires as presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 3.3, approval of certified and classified substitutes, Mr. Housley.
All right, there's several of these. We're excited to have some substitutes on board. As certified substitutes, Pam Barstow, Alyssa Brown, and Sharon Gooder. Also as classified, we have Camelia Applegate, Alyssa Brown, Melina Davis, Jody Fobach, Pamela Shaner, Deborah Thompson, Michelle Ziegler, Kyle Marler, and Teresa Gaffney. Those are all substitutes in their respective areas. I bring these substitutes, both classified and certified, for your approval.
I make a motion to approve the certified and classified substitutes.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 3.4, approval of stipends and volunteers, Mr. Housley.
We have a list of new things that are coming up, and in front of you have a list of our high school girls basketball assistant basketball coaches, Tyson Adams and Samantha Duncan, CTE advisors, Jerry Butler, Missy Goodman, Laura Gillespie, CTE track and contract stipends, Jerry Butler, Kevin Curtis, Laura Gillespie, Missy Goodman, Rick Lofgreen, and Chuck Marsh. CTE also has a stipend for paid over contract hours, and that's Jerry Butler, Missy Goodman, and Rick Lofgreen. Our volunteers for the High School Robotics Club, Aaron Cosgray, and I bring these for your approval this evening.
I motion for the approval of stipends and volunteers as presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 4.1, approval of a second viewing and adoption of policy GCF-RB, professional staff hiring. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, we brought this before you last month for your first consideration, and this policy is in particular to those who would return to work. Arizona state law says that if you are working in the Arizona state retirement system, that you either have to stay out of employment for a year after retirement before coming back, or you have to stay out and be a part of a third-party contract situation. And so policy GCF-RB was our version of that policy. Some changes that you made with the first reading. It used to only all retired employees, regardless of where their retirement came from, used to be they had to go on our post-retirement plan. We've eliminated that from this and provided two options. And these are just the highlights of the policy. With the two options for return to work employees, one would be an employee would return to work at 80% of their last contracted amount. There are some provisions in there that the district would take care of 100% of the alternative contribution rate, which is what they have to contribute to retirement when they return. Employees earn Proposition 301. The district does not pay their insurance if they opt into the 80% category, and then leave and benefits will be granted according to board policies. If someone chose to return to work and say come back at 73% of their last contracted amount, the district would pay 50% of the alternative contribution rate. The employee would earn 301 if it was applicable to their position. Employees would be eligible for insurance, and they would accumulate leave and benefits as everyone else would, according to our policies there. After the district, or after they were out for a year, then they would return to work as a regular employee of the district, and that is that's in the policy also. So I bring that before you for your second reading and your approval this evening.
I make a motion to approve the second reading and adoption of policy GCF-RB as presented.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion about this policy?
I love it. Thank you.
Definitely will help us attract some more staff, qualified staff to our district.
With that said, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. .1, approval of board docs program. Mr. Schubert.
With the board docs program, I'd actually like to defer to Mr. Housley. He knows much more about it than I do.
Super. Thank you, Mr. President. Board Docs is a program that will allow for more access and ease of producing the board documents that you have in front of you. Typically, tonight was a little light on the board book, but because our agenda wasn't very big, but this could go up to 100 pages or more at times with all the stuff that might go in that. As you can imagine, that's very time consuming. On top of everything that happens as far as Kelly trying to communicate that back out to you and trying to put that together and then get the information from principals and others. Board docs allow us to bring all that process together so that it's easier for the principals to submit their stuff. It's easier for Kelly to pull it all together at the end, and then you would get it electronically and be able to manipulate that electronically. The program also will help us to get those out to the public and for public viewing much quicker than the board book is here. So Kelly and I have done a review of the program. We've seen it at different conferences. We've actually been on the phone with the program and saw what it would do for us. And they have a Corvette version, and then they have a little bit less than that version, and we're not asking for a Corvette, but we do feel like there's something that could benefit you as a board and also Kelly from her end and as your secretary. So we bring before you this evening the board docs program for your consideration and approval, just so that you know the program initially for setup and getting everything together has a little higher cost than our annual cost for it. So it's $3,700 in the first year, $2,700 annually from that point on, and that will help us to really manage our board business a little bit better. So I bring that for your approval this evening.
I'll make a motion for the approval of board docs.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 5.2, update on school facilities budget projects. Mr. Schubert.
Yes, sir. Every January, we bring before the board approval to use the board president's stamp when we conduct business with the school facilities board. That way we can expedite those projects. And one of the conditions of using that stamp is that we go ahead and we give you periodic updates as to what we have going on. So tonight, I am very happy to report to you that after 2.5 years of working with the SFB,
Trying.
well, I was going to say fighting, but we'll just go with working. So after 2.5 years of working with the SFB, at their last board meeting, they had approved a $45,000 grant to the district to begin the design and engineering of a new roof for Whipple Ranch Elementary, which will lead to about a $920,000 roof that the district will not have to pay for. So that will take bond money that was recently passed and move that on to other projects that are needed within the district. So that takes our $10 million bond and puts it basically at $11 million, because that's a project we don't have to worry about. But I wanted to go ahead and give you guys that update and let you know where we were with projects within the SFB.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. 6.0 consent agenda. Mr. Schubert.
Tonight, we bring before you on our consent agenda requesting your approvals of the following items: the ratification of our payroll and expense vouchers, ratification of the junior high and high school activity of revenues and expenditures, approval of the following donations: a $1,000 donation from the Elks Lodge for the 2018 grad night, a $1,000 donation from Audiology Inc. to High School Robotics Club, a $500 donation from UNS Energy Corps for the High School Spirit Line, golf clubs and bags valued at $400 to the High School Golf Club from an anonymous donor, construction of a JV dugout donated by Maroons Construction and M&M Block and Concrete. We also ask for your approval tonight of the Xolo Junior High School Fine Arts Club to include approval and fundraising and tax credit accounts. So we bring these to you tonight for your approvals.
Thank you.
I make a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? As always, I would like to express appreciation for the donations. So grateful. If there's nothing else, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I will now entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Thank you all very much for being here this evening.
I don't want to lose the second set.